Buongiorno, here Emanuele Fiore, and here with us today Peter Zinkovetsky
Yes.
from Avenue Law Firm.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, of course. You are one of the attorneys I use the most, so obviously you are here supporting it. We are here supporting each other. So where is Avenue Law Firm and when it started?
I started Avenue Law Firm about 10 years ago now.
Oh, wow. So long?
And yes.
I don't even know you from 10 years.
Yeah, I think we've been working together for 5 or 6 years.
5, 6 years.
Yeah. So, right now our main office is in Midtown, on 40th and Park Avenue. Mm-hmm. And we also have 2 satellite offices, one in the Hamptons, one in Garden City, Long Island.
Oh, good. So we can take more deals up there in the Hamptons.
Yes,
too.
and we also plan to open another office this year in Westchester.
Oh, expansion.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you have any Westchester deals, we already handle them, but soon we'll be handling them in our Westchester office.
Why this passion and how you became a real estate attorney?
I always had passion for real estate.
Okay.
It was even throughout college and my education in law school. All my courses were real estate based.
Okay.
Always enjoyed real estate. I mean, this is New York, right? You have 2 main industries: the financial and the real estate industries.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody talking about or finance or real estate.
Exactly.
So why didn't you become a real estate broker then?
It's never too late.
Never too late?
Yes.
Well, we need you as an attorney.
Yes.
There are already enough brokers, enough real estate salespeople. So Peter is one of our preferred vendors. We did many deals together. By the way, how you get most of your clients?
I would say that half of my clients come as referrals from real estate agents, just like yourself.
Oh, okay.
You work with my firm on a deal, see that we get the deals closed, the clients are happy, and
they refer you to other.
Yes,
following
exactly.
client. Yeah,
and half of the clients come as referrals from other clients. I've started doing more online marketing, but that's it's a tough space to acquire clients.
You have to actually work on them. Instead, when it comes from a referral, it's already like
exactly.
red carpet.
Referrals are always the best source of clients, especially if they're a referral from somebody that the client trusts, because then the client comes to the firm wanting to hire you specifically because they already trust you based on the recommendations. Exactly.
So you are mainly focused now in New York or also all the other as you mentioned?
You mean New York City or New York State?
New York City.
I would say that our main office and most of the work is done in the New York City office. So we are 80% of our business is New York City, but we do have a very rapidly growing Hamptons, Long Island, and Westchester businesses, especially after the pandemic they picked up.
By the way, how does it work for real estate attorneys? You need a license to operate in other states? It's like brokers?
Yes.
I cannot operate in California, for example. Or is the same things or different?
It's the same things.
Okay.
It's a state-specific license.
Okay.
So you can practice anywhere in New York State, but you cannot cross into New Jersey.
Yeah, I got it. Same for us, basically. Exact same thing. And everybody's asking, what's the price point of a real estate attorney to close a deal from start to finish?
It's actually a lot of clients start the conversation with that. The funny thing is that usually if you look at the closing statement for any transaction, the lawyer's fee are the lowest closing costs that the clients will actually have. Yeah. The fees really depend on the complexity of a transaction, but with my firm, for a regular deal, they average around $3,000 to $3,500. Obviously, if it's a commercial deal, the fees, and if it's a more complex commercial transaction, the fees are higher.
Okay, so being a real estate agent is a job that changed dramatically over the past few years, even though it's a very old job. As an attorney, your job from 10 years ago till now has changed. What's the difference?
It did. Not in a drastic way, but a lot of things changed. Number one, technology is becoming more widely used and accepted in the legal community. legal community overall, the practice of law overall, is very resistant to incorporating technology into the practice of law. I don't know why. I personally love
strange.
using tech.
Yeah.
But look, the reality is it's becoming a lot less nowadays. But when I started practicing 10 years ago, I would sometimes be getting, contracts sent by mail or by faxes instead of in emails because the lawyer on the other side wouldn't use emails.
I cannot even imagine the amount of paper in your office.
Yeah. So and I still had some old school attorneys request 4 originals of the signed real estate contracts and they wanted real original signatures, and then 2 would be kept by the sellers, 2 would be kept by the buyers.
They don't even accept digital signatures.
Well, that was before. That was 10 years ago. Not that far away. Nowadays, everyone except at least no one is doing contracts by mail anymore. Everyone is doing electronic contracts, even if they don't use e-signatures. They sign and scan.
And this is good because also the speed process is much faster, so a client can actually close faster.
Yeah. So that was one of the changes, that a lot of things became electronic. Also, in terms of communication with clients, I used to get a lot more clients 10 years ago wanting to do the first consultation in person.
Okay.
Nowadays,
Zoom call?
Yes.
Call.
Yeah. Zoom definitely, and Zoom competitors such as Google Meet really took over during COVID.
Yeah, talking about Zoom.
Yeah.
During COVID, how did you manage to do closings?
So New York still requires original signatures for recording documents, for the deed, for the mortgage, for the document set that's called ACRIS, which doesn't tell anything to anyone outside the real estate industry, but anyone in New York who's practicing real estate knows ACRIS.
Yeah, I know what is ACRIS.
Yes. Those are the transfer documents that have to be recorded with the city and the state. Okay. So those require original signatures that need to be notarized. And it was a shit show. Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, you are allowed to say that.
So it was a complete shit show during COVID because no one was prepared for it.
Yeah. In every sector, by the way, nobody.
Exactly. And as you know, with a real estate transaction, right, at the closing, you have a lot of different parties involved. You have the buyers and the sellers. You have the buyers and the sellers' attorneys. Then you have the lender and the lender's attorney. And then you have the title company and the title company's closer. So, and obviously you have the agents, you have the managing company.
Yeah, a lot of people in that table.
A lot of people involved, and everyone had to agree on the process because before, everyone would just come to the closing table and
decide live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now everyone had to figure out a way how to close remotely and agree to it. And I personally had a lot of resistance from some attorneys to even accommodate remote or closing in counterparts.
Why they would even be like that? I mean, what, they didn't want to work?
Yes.
I mean, if you are resistant to this sort of technology, basically you can't close.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's becoming more accepted and commonplace now. We started, again, there's no way, at least currently, to do a closing fully, I shouldn't say there's no way. So during COVID, a lot of clients started closing by power of attorney.
Okay.
So because even though the original documents are required at the closing, the clients don't necessarily have to sign them. They can give the power of attorney to their lawyer to sign them. So a lot of clients started doing power of attorney to the lawyers, and the lawyers would sign on their behalf at the closing.
You did many closing during COVID? I mean, since you were one of the pioneer of this technique. Yeah? Yes,
we were. The first few months was this weird transition stage during COVID. But just like everyone else, the market, pre-COVID, the market was very strong, right? So there were a lot of deals that were in contract awaiting to be closed, and then everything got put on hold during COVID. And obviously, there were no new deals for the first month or even 2 or 3 months during
we couldn't
COVID.
even show apartment, I remember.
Exactly.
We were not allowed to get in apartment.
Exactly. But then, the floodgates opened up.
Yeah.
Because people wanted to leave the city. They started dropping everything and moving to the suburbs, which is, I always did Long Island and Westchester. And the Hamptons. It just wasn't such a big part of my practice as it is right now. But I've always closed deals there. During COVID, that segment just exploded because people were moving and living year round in the Hamptons, which was pretty unheard of before.
It was actually not too bad for you. It was kind of an expansion of.
I think that for the way the real estate market performed in New York, for pretty much everyone in the real estate industry, especially the agents, 2021 and 2022 were the largest, were the busiest years of their career.
Yeah.
Most big agents recorded their highest numbers during those 2 years. So the year of the COVID 2020 was obviously everyone took a hit.
Yeah.
And then from 2021 and 2022, the market rebounded with vengeance.
So since we're talking about market right now, how you feel the market is like on a lawyer, on an attorney standpoint? Because I know how the market is, but you actually do deals also for other agents, so you might have a different perspective. You're doing more deals, less deals. They are more expensive, less expensive.
Sure. So I think that people are becoming to accept the new reality when it comes to the rates. Obviously, everyone had a rate shock when the rates started to increase. Most consumers, most buyers, most sellers are adjusting to it and accepting the new reality because the way it looks, we're not going to see 3% rates for a very, very long time.
Long time, yeah. And rentals are high, so if you really have to buy, at the end of the day, you just buy.
Yes. I think that we are going to be in the 6, 7, maybe even 8% range for a while, for at least a few years. I don't anticipate rates dropping anytime soon. If anything, there is a lot of indication that they will keep on going up. Yeah. Again, they're not going to double. They're not going to go up from 3 to 7%,
But what's basically interests you more is the volume. It's not really the price point. Because, for example, as a real estate agent, the difference is that I'm seeing there is less volume, there are less deals, but the price in real estate kind of stabilized. Yes. I mean, it dropped, and now in this level, it's kind of fluctuate always few points up, few points down. But the real thing that it sucks is there are less deals, less numbers of deals.
You got to hustle more then.
Well,
you have to make up.
Everybody has to make up for that. But yeah, so this didn't affect you so much. Same volume.
So look, I'm in the same boat as you, right? So if the agents who are sending me business are slowing down, my business is going to slow down. If there's less buyers and less sellers, my business is going to slow down. So I'm just like you. I'm not interested in the price points as much as a stable market. Yeah. Like I want a stable market where buyers are constantly buying and sellers are constantly selling. But rates aside, most people don't need to change apartments or houses every 2-3 years. It's a long-term investment. It includes substantial amount of closing costs.
Yeah.
It's a hassle to find a place, to move into the place.
Move, sell.
You are not going. Most people move because they're downsizing or they're upsizing or they need to be in a certain area. You're not go. It's not like changing even a car, right? Where you lease a car for 3 years and then you find a new one. If you buy an apartment, you're probably not going to switch for a while unless you have to. And that's what happened during COVID, right? A lot of people moved around. So everyone
because they need to move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So rates aside, if those people wouldn't be selling in the next couple of years regardless. We never saw such a large movement of people, people moving from the city and then people moving back to the city.
Yeah.
Like we did during
state to
2021 and
another.
2022.
Yeah, exactly. What's your favorite deal? What's you prefer? Condo, co-op, condo?
Oh, condos.
Right.
Have you ever heard?
I knew that.
Have you ever heard any real estate professional, whether they're broker, mortgage broker, or an attorney, say that they prefer co-ops?
I don't think so. What's the percentage? You do more condo or co-op, regardless whether you like it or not?
Well, overall, there are way more co-op apartments in New York City than condo apartments.
Especially if you're specialized with brokers that they work uptown.
Yes. But I would say that the composition of my practice is, when it comes to apartments, is probably 50-50.
50-50.
Yes.
It takes longer also for you to close a co-op, right?
Yes, it does. It's the due diligence is usually takes a little bit longer. And the closing process takes longer because most co-ops, they want the buyer to have a mortgage commitment before submitting the board package. And that takes an extra, that delays the process by an extra month.
It takes so long. Talking about the future of your firm, I mean, we were talking about the difference from 10 years ago to now. Have you ever heard already that people want to have their deed in sort of NFT or not?
That's
they approach you. I envision this as a future of deed and real estate attorney. But I don't know if someone already did it, think of doing it.
It's a great idea, and I was actually exploring using blockchain for closing process in New York City.
Because I'm starting to sell real estate also in Bitcoin and Ethereum on other platform. I mean, so I was curious to see if we can close.
So you can have
too.
Yes, you can have a deed in the NFT, right?
Yeah.
Just like you can have a deed
for everything else.
For everything, it's the point is that deed doesn't mean much unless it's recorded with a city, right? So once you record it with a city, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
Because
it's the way you want.
Exactly. You cannot come to the city and show them the NFT to prove that this is your apartment. At least not yet.
Yeah, at least not yet. Maybe one day. We'll see. So remember, guys, the real estate attorney is the one that can give or can take out your life as a real estate broker. Because they are most likely the one that they let your deal survive or kill it. You are more on the killing side or on the survivor side? Because I know a few attorneys that they actually like it to spice it up the deal and make us angry.
So
you care more for the client or for the broker or for both?
I think that everyone has to work as a team, right? It's not about well, first of all, as a lawyer, your duty is always to your client.
Yeah.
But I always view the agents as an integral part of a transaction, of a part of the team.
Yeah, because you are really the last part to close the. Maybe we work on it for a year and then we give it to the attorney and then the deal falls apart.
No,
and we want to kill the attorney.
The reality is that I've had to pull a plug on deals. That happens. Sometimes it happens. It's just not a right transaction. Sometimes there are things that we discover that I discovered during the due diligence. I'll give you an example. I had a client buying an apartment in a co-op building, and during the due diligence, it came up that a flip tax is 70% of the profit.
What?
70.
70.
Correct.
I cannot believe. Usually it's 3%.
Correct. It was 70% of the profit.
Of the capital gain.
So, when things like that come up,
you got to disclose.
It's not the right deal for the client. Doesn't matter how much time the agent put into the work.
The agent didn't found out that
the sellers never disclosed it. Yes, until the due diligence.
Listing broker.
Yeah. The seller just said that the seller is paying the flip tax, but they never disclosed what the flip tax is. And obviously, the problem is once the buyer buys it,
will sell. Then
she can never make any money on it because 70% of the profit will go go to the board.
Incredible. So they will never sell that apartment,
Yes.
I guess. I'm gonna check online if it's still live or not.
Yeah.
So obviously you are not from America, but we can see from the accent. No, I'm
Yes.
kidding.
Speaking about accents.
Mostly from my accent. No, actually your accent is...
I mean, this is why New York is so great,
Yeah.
because it's one of the few places in the world where you can be super successful,
Yeah.
never mind the accent.
Yeah, exactly. So you work with international buyers, I guess.
I do, yes. I mean, this is New York City. There are a lot of international buyers, always. Doesn't matter what the market is, doesn't matter what the rates are, doesn't matter how good or bad the economy is doing.
There were more international buyers before or now?
There were more international buyers before. During COVID, the
stopped.
international buyers kind of stopped. But I see a huge increase in international buyers and international investors coming back to New York City.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Out of referral clients or previous clients that you had, where do you find most of your new clients? You network a lot, you go out a lot.
So as I've mentioned to you before, about half of my referrals come from the agents.
Okay.
So obviously, I associate a lot with real estate professionals. And the other half are referrals from existing clients or referrals from other business professionals. I used to network a lot more when I was starting my own practice. Mm-hmm. I think my view on networking changed a little bit. I don't go to the typical networking events like BNIs. Okay. Nothing wrong with the BNI, but it's for my personal business, I didn't find it very, very productive.
Okay.
I prefer more social events than networking events. Exactly.
Member clubs.
I don't try to advertise there, but obviously it's New York City. Everyone always asks you, what are you doing?
What about social media? You advertise yourself on social media?
I'm trying.
We are pioneer of that.
Yes.
We are pioneer of the next real estate agent generation. It's all about social, but
Sirhan needs to start going into the legal field also.
Yeah, maybe one day, maybe. Well, by the way, you are our preferred real estate attorney. And what about your preferred real estate brokerage?
That's you.
Okay, good. I would have cut that answer if it was not me. So thank you guys for following our podcast. Subscribe. Here we have Peter Zinkoteski, Avenue Firm. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And ciao. On to the next one.